at camp today. We are. Who won't give a damn about the Alamo? Right. Who gives a damn about the white man's losses? And that's why the world will rejoice when we are in the door. Right.
And the scepter of the rulers.
The truth of the matter is that you, the white man, have painted yourself as Jesus Christ.
Right.
No more of the evil and the crime that we learned from your people. And guess what? The more and more we change and become righteous, which we're doing today, teaching the love that we're teaching the righteousness that we're teaching, the more that you're going to fall be back in a position of a servant.
Right.
Because I never seen love for black people. I never seen love for Native Indians.
Right.
I never seen kindness for these people.
Right.
I never seen all of the good things you just said. I never seen them for black, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
So all of that heartwarming stuff that you're talking about is not applied in the barrios and the reservation.
Right.
All of the stuff that you're talking about does not apply to the ghettos of America.
I understand you guys have been hanging out here for I don't know how long, and things have changed. The Alamos kind of taken over the territory.
Because the last thing we want to do is have an officer get called out here who's not informed and act on something and get himself in trouble. Absolutely. Right? We're gonna make sure we speak to the whole shift about it, and everybody knows the legality of what's going on in Alamo Plaza, because obviously it's a little bit disorganized from what they want as to what is on paper.
Once again, just undefeated when the Lord on your side. You know what I mean? The man in General Your Honor raised up real revolutionaries. Damn right. That know what to fight for and how to fight.
All right, clap it up. Shalom Israel. Nosotros somos la Escuela Israelita de Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Comenzamos de un oeste, calle 125, en Harlem, Nueva York, abajo del Comandante General Yahana. Shalom Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. And since 1969, we've been bringing the truth out about the Bible to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, informing you that you're the true Israelites spoken about in the Holy Bible. And tonight's class is Isupk San Antonio's history class, right? We're going to get into the time of the seasons, right? Right now, everybody's getting ready to, for that holiday that they're going to go out and drink like a fish. They're going to go into the clubs, right? And they're going to, pull it up, man, pop bottles, they're going to, they're going to have a big one, right? On New Year's Eve. Well, tonight we're going to talk about the truth about New Year's Eve, on why we celebrate it on January 1st and the significance of all that. And why our people are actually in a how can I say, in a trance, not in a trance, but they're what we're indoctrinated into the philosophy of the Romans and the Grecians, right? We're like not in a trance, but like a spell, really. How they deceived the whole world, and they changed all kinds of things in nature, really, right? But we're going to get into it. But first, let's bring out Daniel chapter 7, verse 25.
Calling out one calling, sir. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 25.
Chapter 7, Salakia.
That's like chapter 7 and verse 25. Salakia. Here we go. Right? And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
Right. He shall speak great words against the Most High. See, this right here was a vision by the prophet Daniel about the beast, right, in his vision. and this is talking about the last beast, right? The Roman, the Roman Empire. This beast that he's speaking about right here is signifying it's the Roman Empire, right? And it's saying that. Read it from the top again.
Con. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, right? They put themselves up as God, right? They, during the Greco-Roman, how can I say, the Greco-Roman occupation of Jerusalem, right? They made us, forget our customs, turn away from our customs, and adopt the Grecian customs, right?
Right.
So no longer could we call ourselves Jews. No longer can we shut this off real quick. No longer could we keep our feast days. We had to uphold their holidays. We couldn't keep the holidays that our God, the Most High God, told us to celebrate. We had to bow down and worship their gods, right? So I say that to say this: we are still under that captivity. We're still under it. It's just renewed. It's just renewed. Like we can go into the vision of Daniel and stuff like that, but we don't have time for tonight's class. Tonight's class, we're going to get into the truth of New Year's Eve, right?
Salakia, sir, if I could.
Go ahead.
I got a precept for that.
Go ahead.
It's the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things, which law forbiddeth. Verse
Right.
6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profane himself at all to be a Jew.
Right. See, that's when we started to lose our culture under that Greco-Roman occupation. The Greeks were in power at this time, right? And they invaded Jerusalem. And read it from the top again. Go ahead.
That precept or Daniel, sir?
No, that precept that you brought up.
Con, sir. Salakia. Go back to it. This book is 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things.
Right, because they came in and they sacked our altar. They totally occupied Jerusalem, and they profaned the altar. They profaned the temple. They were sacrificing, swine's flesh on our altar, when swine is an abomination to the Lord. Right? They were sacrificing swine flesh. They were having orgies in the altar. They just defiled that, not on the altar, but they were having orgies in the temple. They just defiled our temple. Right? They were like in Daniel 7 verse 25, right? And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Right? They were against the Most High. They wanted to build up, altars to their gods, to Apollo and to Jupiter and all that. They didn't respect our customs. They didn't respect the true way, right? Which is our way, which is the Most High God's laws, statutes, commandments. They told us to what? Keep on going with your
Con, sir. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth. Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts.
Right. They told us we couldn't keep our customs. We couldn't keep our culture. We couldn't keep our law. Go ahead.
Con. Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Yeah, they told us we couldn't even call ourselves what we are. We're Jews. We are the children of God. We couldn't even say that. Just like today, they hate us, right? They call us Black Hebrew Israelites. That's like saying white George Washington.
Right.
Right? It's ridiculous, really. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like spitting in your face. That's what it is, right? They don't want you to be God's chosen elect. They want to keep that lie that they spread throughout all the earth about how Christ is white, how the prophets were white. They want to keep that lie. They want to change everything that's natural on the earth, just like how they say that you know there's multiple genders, right? They even changed the laws to where there's multiple, options of what restroom you want to go to.
Right.
It's diabolical, really. Like these oppressors are the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
They they I mean they turn everything that's good in this world, that the Lord deemed good, right? And right and righteous. They turn that completely upside down because they are against the Lord. They're completely against the Lord. Their spirit is a contrite spirit. I mean, their spirit is crooked. It was made crooked. I mean, who can straighten that? Nobody. The Lord made their spirit crooked. That's how they were made. They were made as the adversary. Was Shaitan. That's what Satan means, the adversary. They are the devil.
Right.
Go ahead.
Con. Well, it's like that was all of that precept.
Okay. Yeah, they made us forget our customs, just like today. It's like here in a few days, right? We're going to celebrate New Year's Eve in the dead of winter. They say that's the new year, but everything is dormant. Like the trees are dormant. They lost their leaves. They shed their leaves, right? All the leaves shriveled up and died. Really, like they're crispy. You pick up a leaf, it's crispy because it's dead. How is that new beginnings when things are dead outside? The grass is dead outside. Everything is dead and dormant. How is that the new year? It's not. But they deemed it the new year. They changed the time, right? They deem what is right and what's not. So like you started from the top on 25.
Con. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
That's what they're doing. They deem what's right and wrong, right? They say the new year is in the dead of winter when everything is dead. But the Lord, the Feast of First Fruits, that starts the new year. I mean, when everything starts to bud up and starts to sprout up, when everything becomes anew, that's the new year. That's what the Lord deems the new year, right? But they change the times. They speak great words against the Most High. Go ahead.
Con. So like it. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And that's what they're doing. They've done this ever since they took occupation of our land. They wear out the saints. They forced us to forget our customs, forget our laws, forget our natural way, which is being the children of God and obeying his word. They told us to forget that and to hold them in so much esteem that we bow down to their images. They send ice on our people nowadays, right? They flood our streets with drugs, and then they put up a false war on drugs, a war that they started. It's just a ploy to wear you out and have you enslaved in the prison industrial complex, so you can continue to feel their economic system in this country for cheap labor. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
He continues to wear out the saints to this day. Go ahead.
Come. And shall wear out of the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
And think to change times and laws. Just like New Year's Eve, right? Why do we have New Year's in January? Everything starts January 1st. Why is that? Well, because that's the beginning of the Gregorian calendar, right? That's the calendar that most of society, this society really uses. I think on exception of I think the Chinese have their own calendar. The so-called Jewish people have their own calendar, but they just adopted and stole our ways, right? And called it their religion. But anyway, most of society follows the Gregorian calendar, and it starts on January 1st. There's a reason for this. They changed times. They changed it because that wasn't always so. We didn't always go by the Gregorian calendar. You know, even if you research, the Aztecs, which are the tribe of Issachar, their calendar didn't start in January. Their calendar started in the springtime when everything sprouts up, everything springs anew. That's when their calendar started, much like the Hebraic calendar, because the Aztecs are Hebrews. But the Gregorian calendar, which is the Grecian calendar, the Greeks and the Romans, right? They go by their own calendar. They change times. Go ahead, say that again.
Khan. And shall wear out of the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
And think to change times and laws, right? They told us we weren't allowed to practice our customs, practice our culture, abide by our laws. We had to abide by their laws. We didn't, celebrate the feast of Bacchus, but they forced us to. We didn't celebrate New Year's Eve and worship Janus. They forced us to. They changed the laws. We didn't celebrate Dia de los Reyes that they're fixing to celebrate in January 6th. We didn't celebrate that. They brought that over here and forced us to celebrate that. Go ahead.
Khan. And think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Right. They should be given into his hand a time, a times, and dividing of times, right? And now we're seeing that time end. We're bringing that time to an end here in the ISUPK because we're bringing out the truth. We're uplifting the skirt of the sins of our oppressors, and it's reaching to heaven, right? The bones that we go out and stand on every camp on Saturday at the Alamo, the bones are crying out to the Lord, and we're just boosting those cries up so the angels can deliver the message to the Most High. We're trying to wake up our people and to realize, Salakia, we're trying to wake up our people to realize that now is high time to wake up. It's time to know the truth. And the truth is, why are you celebrating New Year's Eve in the dead of winter when everything is dead? It's dead. I know here in Texas, it don't really feel like winter. Like it's barely getting cold now, right? But you still see the the dried leaves on the ground everywhere, right? It is winter. Even though we don't get much snow here, it is winter. Everything is dead. You don't see, you know, flowers spring up, and all that. Everything is dormant and dead. Truth is, you're celebrating a heathenistic holiday, a heathenistic custom when you celebrate New Year's Eve. That's what the truth is. We're going to bring it out tonight. Salaki, go ahead and start with that first article.
Khan one Khan. Slovakia. All right. Slovakia. New Year's Eve history festive facts. Cultures around the world and through history have commemorated the ending of one year and the beginning of another year. Of another
Right.
with
See,
with
like,
special foods.
so, like it's like that's what they say, right? It's a celebration, the ending of this year and the beginning of new year, of the new year to come, right? Go ahead.
Khan and the beginning of another with special foods, music, and other rituals. Here are some facts about the holiday today and its associated traditions. Salaki. Um, what does Alud Lang
Like
Sayan mean?
you can skip that part. Let's go to who were first to make resolutions for the new year, right?
Khan.
Because that's what everybody does. They on January 1st they flood the the local neighborhood gyms, and they get new memberships to the gyms, and they make a New Year's resolution to where I'm going to get in shape this year, right? That's the most common resolution that everybody does, right? They also have other resolutions to where they're going to stop drinking so much. They're going to stop, or what have you, like they're going to stop cheating on their spouse or whatever have you. They make resolutions for the new year. New year, new me, right? Go ahead.
Khan. Who were the first to make resolutions? It's like resolutions for the new year. People have been pledging to change their ways in the new year, whether by getting in shape, quitting a bad habit, or learning a skill for an estimated 4,000 years now.
Right. This is not a new thing. This New Year's resolution is not a new thing. Most people think that, oh no, that's an American custom. No, it's not. Go ahead.
Khan. The tradition is thought to have first caught on among the ancient Babylonians.
Right, the Babylonians. Remember, we were enslaved under the Babylonians, right? The Babylonians are heathen. They have heathenistic customs. Where do you think you get the Christmas tree from? That's a Babylonian custom. It's an idol worshiping Nimrod, right? So now we're doing the same customs over again. You gotta think to what you're really doing when you're celebrating New Year's Eve, right? Go ahead.
Khan, who made promises in order to earn the favor of the gods and the start the year off on the right foot.
Right. In favor of the gods, right? You're making promises in favor of the gods. It didn't say to God, it said gods. Those New Year's resolutions, that's idolatry. That's what it is. It's idolatry. Because that's where it stems from. It stems from a Babylonian custom. Go ahead.
Khan. They would reportedly vow to pay off debts and return borrowed farmland. and return borrowed farm equipment.
Yeah, see, that's what they did. The Babylonians did, right? Because it was a start of a new year, so they would pay off their debt that they had the old year and return all their equipment, right? But it was in favor of their gods, which is idolatry. It's a idolatrous custom. And then now we just, instead of paying off debts and returning farm equipment, we just pack the gyms up in January and February. We try to stop smoking. We try to you know go back to school and learn a new trade to better ourselves. But it's in the same spirit of the Babylonians when they would make promises to their gods. It's the same spirit. It's idolatry. Go ahead.
Con. The age-old custom of breaking one's newly formed resolution within several months, a fate that befalls the majority of would-be reformers. According to statistics, probably originated shortly thereafter.
Right.
Um,
Uh,
Want to read the when the first New Year's Eve ball?
no, you can skip that.
Con.
Let's go. Who made January 1st the first of the year?
All right. Who made January 1st the first of the year? Throughout iniquity, civilizations around the world developed increasingly sophisticated calendars, typically pinning the first day of the year to an agricultural or astronomical event. In Egypt, for instance, the year began with the annual flooding of the Nile, which coincided with the rising of the star Sirius. The first day of the lunar year, the first day of the Lunar New Year, also called Chinese New Year, meanwhile occurred with the second new moon after the winter solstice.
Solstice.
Solstice, Slaki. In ancient Rome, the original calendar consisted of 10 months and 304 days.
Right. The original calendar originated with 10 months, right? But now we have 12. Why is that? Well, they changed the times, like in Daniel 7 verse 25, right? They changed the times. They added two whole new months. You know, uh July after Julius Caesar, August after Augustus Caesar. That's where you get July and August from. They added it just to honor their emperors. They added that. They changed the time. Go ahead.
Khan. With each new year beginning at the vernal equinox. According to tradition, it was created by Romulus.
Yeah, it was created by
Well,
Romulus. Really, that's where they named Rome from, was Romulus. It was like there's a tale. It's a fable, really. I don't know if it's really true or not, but there's these two brothers, right? Romulus and Remus. They were orphans and they were raised by a wolf. And Romulus took power over what is now Rome, something like that. That's why they named it after Romulus. But anyway, they try to say that he's the founder of like the Roman culture. That's why they named it almost everything after him in Rome. Go ahead.
Khan. It was created by Romulus, the founder of Rome, in the 8th century BC. Over the centuries, the calendar fell out of sync with the sun. And in 46 BC, Julius Caesar decided to solve the problem by consulting with the most prominent astronomers and mathematicians of this time. He introduced the Julian calendar, which closely resembles the more modern Gregorian calendar that most countries around the world use today.
See, Julius Caesar introduced that, right? He changed the time. He changed the time. They were well, the Romans really, you know, changed it, changed the natural order of things, right? Through their imperialism. They, they're a break off of the Greeks. Remember Alexander, they call him Alexander the Great, but we call him Alexander the Freak or Alexander the Greek. He,
Right.
he went out, he went out and you know, he conquered most of the known world at the time, right? Well, the Romans are a break off of them because when he died, he when Alexander died, he broke off different sections to his generals of the empire, or that section that Rome that the Romans took over. That's where Romulus came out of, and all that. They all came out. Everything came out of the Grecians because Greeks and Romans they're the same people. But they started changing the times. The Roman Empire started changing the times. But Julius Caesar is the one who made the first of the year in January. Go ahead.
Come out a long time. As a part of his reform, Caesar established January 1st as the first day of the year, partly to honor the month's namesake, Janus, the Roman god of beginnings.
Right, Janus, the Roman god of of beginnings. Right, Janus is a Roman god. I should have pulled up a picture, but anyway, um, it's a Roman god with two faces. Right, she's got a face in the front and she's got a face in the back. Right, the face in the front representing like to look forward to new beginnings, and the back is like to remember the year that passed. It's a false god that the Romans created, and that's where you get the month January from. It, it's a it's a month named after Janus, after a false god. That's why we celebrate New Year's on January 1st. It's in worship. It's in commemoration of this diabolical false deity, right? That's what New Year's Eve is about. New Year's Eve is the worship of a false god.
Right.
That's the truth about New Year's Eve. So when you go out to the club and you're gonna, you know, have a I hate this. I was about to say something else, but anyway, have a good time with your friends and family, right? You're doing it in worship of a false god. That's what you're doing. But you're doing it out of ignorance. You need to wake up. Wake up to the fact that you're sinning against your God, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. When you go out and you drink like a fish at the club on New Year's Eve, you're sinning. But it's time to wake up. Come out of all the customs of our oppressor. Come out of all the lies that they've told us. They've twisted up the very nature of the world, really. It's time to come out of all that. Go ahead.
Khan. So like Janus, the Roman god of beginnings, whose two faces allowed him to look back into the past and forward into the future. In medieval Europe, Christian leaders replaced January 1st as the first of the year with days carrying more religious significance, such as December 25th, the anniversary of Yahweh's birth.
Right. See, that's another thing that they changed. Christ wasn't born in the dead of winter. December, well, I think the winter starts around like December 20th or something like that, right? But Christ wasn't born in the wintertime because if you read the scriptures, the shepherds were out tending to the flock. You know, sheep are, you know, they're very, I wouldn't say delicate, but you have to look over sheep, you know, very well. And if you leave them out in the cold, sheep could die. They freeze to death. I had a little lamb when I was a kid. My grandfather gifted me a little lamb, and even though we had it inside of a shed, it still froze to death. It froze because it got up, it got down to I think like 17 degrees that night, and the poor little lamb, it froze, right? Well, having the sheep out during the wintertime, tending to them, it's too cold. They wouldn't be out there. They'd be in the in a manger, laying down in hay and straw to keep warm. And they would feed them in there. They wouldn't have them roaming out in the field at night. It's too cold. They would die. Go ahead.
Khan. Carrying more religious significance, such as December 25th, the anniversary of Yahweh's birth, and March 25th, the feast of the Annunciation. Pope Gregory, it's like I don't know this Roman numeral
13th.
13th,
Yeah.
reestablished January 1st as New Year's Day in 1582.
Right. And he reestablished all that. But the Pope is in Rome, right? So it's just the Romans. That's all it is. Um, you skip all the black eyed peas because all that stuff. But oh, you can oh, we're done with that. We're done with that article.
Khan.
Let's pull up the other before we pull up the other article, we're gonna go back and read Daniel 7 verse 25 again because I'm gonna make a point on what also he changed, right? Go ahead.
Khan. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out of this and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Right. Think to change times and laws. This is when this government of this wicked kingdom, this is when they start to implement new laws. Is during January 1st. They implement new laws. Well, we're fixing to get into an article about a new law and how they're still wearing out the saints of the Most High. The saints of the Most High are blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
Right.
We are the saints of the Most High. We are the children of God, the true Israelites spoken about in the Bible. You go ahead and pull up that article right now.
Comic-Con. New Texas laws January 1st, 2026. Here's what goes into effect in the new year. Some of the new laws from the new year in Texas touch on squatters, immigration enforcement, AI, and more. In Houston. When the calendar turns to January, there will be several new laws that take effect across the state of Texas, having to do with everything from insurance, compliance with immigration officials, taxes, squatters, and more. Senate Bill 8, relating to the relating to agreements between certain sheriffs and the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement to enforce federal immigration law and grant program to cover the cost of implementing those agreements.
Right. See, they're getting ready to do this how can I say um
Mass deportation.
yeah, mass deportation, but it's a ploy like a mission, really. You know what I
Mm.
mean? They're getting ready to ramp up these deportations of our people, right? And they're making it into a law. Now, you know, ICE is out there hunting the the Hispanics, right? But they're fixing to ramp it up, and we're going to see how. And they're making it into a law. Go ahead.
Common Con. Well, it's like that was all that. Senate Bill 8. This one was passed during the regular session. It mandates that sheriffs in countries with jails formally work with U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, also known as ICE,
Right.
and
It man-
perform.
it's like it mandates that sheriff in counties with jails, right? So it it's telling that it's basically it's a law that the sheriffs have to work with ICE, and they're going to detain these illegal immigrants in their jails, right? Instead of ICE detaining them and shipping them to like an ICE deportation center, they're going to be just held in the county jail now, right? They're going to be held in the county jail, and man, it gets diabolical, right? It gets diabolical because oh, we'll just read further. Go ahead.
Common Con. It's like it. With jails formerly work with U.S. immigrations and custom enforcement, also known as ICE, and perform specific immigration enforcement duties through the 287G program. It also permits those counties to seek grants ranging from 80,000 to $140,000, with the amount determined by county population to support their investment.
Right. So they basically recruited the police to hunt down, you know, Hispanics, and by doing so, they can get grants from the government to help them out. You know, what are those grants going to do? Right? Basically, they're getting paid to enslave us, right? But what their grants going to do is they're gonna they can buy more, you know, those um militarized I forgot what they call them, but they look like tanks, right? Right? They look like tanks. They can get these grants to buy more of these militarized equipment to intimidate us. Get more grants to, you know, give themselves raises or what have you. to entice the police to go out there and hunt us down even harder, right? It's diabolical what the government is doing. They are
Right.
completely against us. They're wearing out the saints of the Most High still to this day. Putting this oppression harder on our necks. That's what they're doing. Changing the law. Because before it was just ICE agents out there. But now you're going to have sheriff, the sheriff department. The police can't go out. Like, let's say if a Mexicano was living outside of city limits, right? But he was minding his own business, but he has a fairly good established business that he does, right? So he's bought himself. Let's say he bought himself an acre and a half of land outside in the county, right? Outside of city limits, right? But it's in the county. But the police can't go out there and arrest him because that's out of their jurisdiction. But the sheriff can. As long as it's in the county, the sheriff can get out there, right? So now the sheriff can go out to, Ramon's little ranchito out there and harass Ramon. Ramon minds his own business in his ranch. He established himself quite good, and now, let's say just for instance, Sheriff John Brown was to get a wild hair up him, right? And decided, oh, now I can just go harass all these uppity Mexicans that are staying out in the county that have these nice houses and ranches. Now I can go arrest them. It gives them more fuel, right? It gives them more fuel to their evilness against us. As long as we stay not obeying God's laws and sinning against God, it how can I say it builds up their system. It builds
Right.
up all the atrocities that are committed against us. It builds that up. It builds up their rage. We need to stop celebrating New Year's Eve, Christmas, Valentine's Day that's fixing to come up, Dia de los Reyes that the Hispanics are about to celebrate on January 6th. It's just angering the Lord. It's angering the Lord, and it's causing us to not be in the Lord's protection. That's why all these, atrocities are ramped up on us today. The answer to our oppression is the truth. And the
Right.
truth is, January 6th is an idolatrous custom. And by doing it, we anger the Lord. We need to stop angering the Lord and come back to the Lord to get in his favor. So all this oppression will stop. That's the answer. Go ahead.
Tom Khan. This is the prices of the, I think, the grants. Slocky. $80,000 for a county. $80,000 for a county with a population of 99,999 or less. $100,000 for a county with a population of at least 100,000, but no more than 449,999. 120,000 for a county with a population of at least 500,000, but no more than 999,999. And 140,000 for a county with a population of at least 1 million.
Right. See, so what they're really trying to do is go after all these small little towns, these small little counties, right? That's what it is. Because we're not really seeing all the, the ICE raids and stuff like that in these small little towns. We're seeing them here in San Antonio. We're seeing them in Houston, seeing them in Austin, but we're not seeing them in these small little towns, right? Like say for instance, like Monahans, Kermit, Uvalde, Big Spring, San Angelo, all these small little cities. We're not really seeing them too much, but now they're going to ramp up. But these small little cities, it's here in Texas. A lot of Hispanics live in these small little cities. You know what I mean? So they're really starting to ramp up everywhere. They're trying to get us out of every nook and cranny here in their kingdom. They're really hunting us down like wild prey. You know what I mean? They're sending out their hunting dogs after us. They sent out, their soldiers, but now they're sending out their hunting dogs, which are these small little county sheriffs. And it's just fuel to their rage. That's all it is. It's ramping up our oppression. But we continue to bow down to their customs and to their idols. It's time to come out of their ways, Raza. Come out of their ways, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. It's time to come out of this wicked kingdom. We can drop that, and I kind of wanted to go into the other article about Dia de los Reyes, right? Both blacks and Hispanics celebrate the New Year's Eve, right? Both blacks and Hispanics celebrate that. But I wanted to bring out something that's not really well known amongst the black community, amongst our Judite brothers, but it is practiced within the Hispanics. If you go to the stores around this time, right, you'll see like a little round cake. It looks like a little wreath, right? And inside that cake is a little plastic Jesus, a white plastic Jesus in that cake. And that cake is called Rosca de los Reyes, right? That cake is sold around this time for our people to celebrate El Dia de los Reyes, which is the Day of the Kings. We're going to bring out the truth about that holiday and how it was never really a Hispanic. Well, it is a Hispanic custom, but we're called Hispanics because we're basically, it's saying that we're property of Spain. To the indigenous people of Mexico, Central and South America, right? We're deemed Hispanics today, but they call us Hispanics just because basically we're like a property of Spain. It's because we're conquered by the true Hispanics. Were Spaniards, people that spoke a Latin language, which is Spanish. We're not truly Hispanics. We're just branded that. It's like a cast iron brand on us. It's a proverb on us, right?
Right.
They put on us, but it's a byword that they put on us. We are not Hispanics. We are not Latinos. That's just what they call us. We don't speak a Latinized language. That was never our original language. We're not from Hispaniola, which is Spain. We're not from that. When they call us Hispanics, they're saying that you are a property of Spain. That's what they're calling you. So when Hispanics celebrate, Dia de los Reyes, they're not celebrating their own customs. We didn't celebrate that. We didn't, cut into a cake and try to find that little plastic Jesus. We didn't do that. That wasn't our custom. Those celebrations, like Dia de los Muertos and Dia de los Reyes, those are those customs that the conquistadores brought over here. Those are their customs, and we're gonna bring that out. Go ahead.
Another one, con. What is Dia de los Reyes? 3-day kings. Sorry, 3 Kings days.
Right.
And how do you celebrate it? Many Americans or other people from English-speaking countries might be familiar with 3 Kings days, also known as Epiphany. This is especially true if you are raised Christian and doubly true if you are raised Catholic. In Mexico, the day is known as Dia de los Reyes and is celebrated on January 6th, just like
Right.
3 Kings days.
Right. Just like 3 Kings days. It's all it is. It's a Dia de los Reyes and 3 Kings days is the same thing, right? They celebrated in Mexico, and they celebrated almost everywhere in Latin America, right? But that didn't originate in Latin America. It originated in Spain. Go ahead.
Con. It's like uh Dia de los Reyes is meant to honor the 3 wise men or Magi who came to bring baby Jesus gifts after his birth. It's like it. What is the three Kings Day, de los Reyes, and why is it celebrated? The direct translation of Dia de los Reyes is Day of the Kings, but it means 3 Kings days. The full title is Dia de los Tres Reyes. But in Mexican tradition of celebrating the feast day, it's shortened to simply Dia de los Reyes, like how Dia de los Muertos
Muertos. Yeah.
can also be Dia de las Madres.
Yeah. Yeah.
Places like, it's like,
It's Dia de los Tres Reyes, right? But in Mexican tradition, we just call it Dia de los Reyes. And in how in Spain they call it Dia de los Muertos, but down here we can just Dia de Muertos. We shorten everything. You know what I mean? It's like Hebrew, right? Hebrew is the way you read it, the way it translates, it shortens everything. It's a really simple language, right? You know, it's real basic, and it's simple because everything comes from Hebrew. It's the original language, right? And that's how blacks and Hispanics talk. They call it Ebonics, right? But we just simplize everything. But they call it over there in Spain Dia de los Tres Reyes. Well, we just call it Dia de los Reyes. It's just simplified. But that's where that originally comes from, in Spain. Go ahead.
Con. Places like Puerto Rico, Argentina, Uruguay simply call it Dia de Reyes.
Right.
The holiday coincides with the feast day of the Epiphany, and both represents the day of three wise men, los tres reyes magos.
Magos, like the magi, which were the the three wise men, right? Magi. Go ahead.
Khan gave gifts to Yahweh. Dia dos Reyes it closes out the Christmas festivities for Mexicans.
Right. See how they put up their their culture instead of the truth of the Bible. They say Christ was born around December 25th, and that they hold their customs so high that the whole world celebrates it. You know what I mean? And they just force us to forget our true culture. We didn't celebrate Dia de los Reyes. We didn't celebrate Dia de los Muertos. We didn't celebrate Christmas. We didn't celebrate New Year's Eve. That's not our customs. But they uphold their customs and made us forget our customs. You know what I mean? It's diabolical. Go ahead.
Khan. With that said, de las Reyes also includes more gift giving in Mexico. Before Santa Claus became such a massive figure in the westernized version of Christmas, the three wise men were actually the ones who brought gifts during Christmas in Mexico. Now, because of how pervasive American traditions are, particularly with Christmas, that's not it's like entirely the case in more modern or urban parts of Mexico.
Right. You know, they they do celebrate Christmas by with having Santa Claus and all that, but in Mexico, but mostly in like you go further into Mexico, it's going to be Dia de los Reyes. Like the wise men are the ones that bring the gifts. You know what I mean, it's completely twisting up what really happened and just conforming to really heathenistic customs and idolatrous ways, right? Because the truth is Christ wasn't born on December 25th,
Right.
right? And they weren't just bringing him gifts because it was his birthday. No, the wise men knew that Christ was the true king of Israel, and they were bringing gifts to the king, right? And it wasn't really gifts for a baby. Would they bring gold and frankincense and myrrh? What is a baby going to do with frankincense and myrrh?
All right.
What is a baby going to do with gold? No, they were giving it to his family so they can have a prosperous future for the baby because he's the king. That's what they were bringing the gifts for, is in homage of the king, not for a birthday gift, not for a Christmas gift. But no, they want you to twist it up and follow their heathenistic ways. It's time to actually stop bowing down to a lie, because that's what we continue to do to this day. We bow down to their false image of Christ. We celebrate their wicked holidays. It's time to stop all that. Go ahead.
Khan. What is Rasca de Reyes? During Dia de las Reyes, Mexicans serve de Reyes, or King's Cake. Rascas directly translate to thread, but is known to mean uh, res
Wreath, wreath,
Wreath.
right? So I'm gonna stop you right there real quick. That's what it is in heathenistic customs. A wreath represents like new beginnings. That's why it's round, right? Well, the customs of the Celtics and the Babylonians and well, heathens really, right? All heathens. They celebrated with with wreaths around solstice and around you know Saturnalia and all that. They celebrated with wreaths. That's all this is. It's just another heathenistic custom. It's a wreath, but instead of made out of you know pine branches and pine needles, it's made out of cake, right? Representing the crown of the king. It's a wreath. The same thing. It's an idol. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Khan Khan, to mean wreath. In this context, which you can see by the shape of the cake. And Reyes, of course, means king. Again, the Rasca de Reyes has an oval shape to symbolize a crown and has a small doll baked inside, which represents baby Yahusha.
Right. See, the small. It's like a small baby white Jesus that you see in every nativity scene, right? In nativity scenes, they have that little miniature baby in there in the manger. Well, they just stuff it in the cake, and whoever gets the cake, um, it's supposed to symbolize like you like a good fortune, and you're supposed to hold a celebration next or something like that. It's crazy, but it gets more into it. Go ahead.
Khan Khan.
Oh, Salaki. But I was saying that to say this. That's not new to to bake a cake to a false god. That's not new. That's a Babylonian tradition. That during the birth of Tammuz, which it was December 25th, right? They would bake cakes and they would put a T on the cake with their fingers, right? On the before it baked, right? They would put a T on it for Tammuz, symbolizing Tammuz. Well, it's the same thing, right? They say Christ was born on December 25th, which he wasn't, and they put it inside the cake. It's the same practice. It's the same thing. It's still a heathenistic custom. But a lot of Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, right, will go out to these stores and they're going to buy that rosca de reyes. They're going to buy that little cake. They're going to buy that and they're going to cut it up and be so happy when they pull out that idol. Go ahead.
Khan Khan. The doll figure symbolizes the hidden, it's like the hiding of the infant Jesus from King Herod's troops. Traditionally, rascas are or adorned
Right.
with dried and candied fruits to symbolize the many jewels that a crown would have. The person who gets the slice with the doll inside must host a party on must host a party on Dia de la
Calendaria.
Calendaria in February.
Right. It's another heathenistic practice where they have candles and stuff like that. But anyway, that's enough of that heathenistic custom. You know what I mean? It's sickening that our people still follow these customs of our oppressor,
Right.
and we we'd like to say that we're how can I say, um really committed to following Christ. That's why we fill these Catholic churches and fill these Christian churches, right? But what are you really following when you celebrate these holidays? What are you really following when you celebrate, you know, Christmas on December 25th? What are you really following when you celebrate Dia de los Reyes? What are you really following when you celebrate New Year's Eve? Because that's nowhere in the Bible. That's nowhere in the Bible. But you can find scriptures against that tree. It's against that tree.
Right.
Scriptures against, worshiping times. Because that's what you're doing when you worship, when you celebrate New Year's Eve, you're worshiping a time. And it's not even the true beginning of the year. You're worshiping a lie. Let's get into that. Let's go to Jeremiah 10, start at 1.
Con. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
O house of Israel. That's you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Hear this. Go ahead.
Con, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen. Don't celebrate the heathenistic customs. Don't celebrate their holidays. The Lord told you not to. Why are you still celebrating Christmas when most of the known world knows that Christ wasn't born on December 25th? Right? Why are we celebrating the new year in the dead of winter? Go ahead.
Con. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Right. Don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Remember when we were learning about when the brother was reading about how Julius Caesar got the scholars to examine, the astrology, right? What is astrology? Study of stars, right? Well, stars are just signs in heaven. That's all they are. Just signs. They're not to be worshipped. But they hold, this feast day in such high regard in a celebration of Janus, right? Which is a false god. They name and make false gods after times of the year, after the stars. That's their gods. That's not our God. Our God is a true God.
All right.
Your God is a false God. It's made off of a creation. Our God is the hand that created everything. Why would we celebrate and worship a creation? We worship the Creator. That's what we are supposed to worship. We're not supposed to worship times. We don't worship times. Why are you still following the ways of our oppressor? Our ways of our oppressor are vain. They're nothing. Because they see a star in the sky and they ooh and awe after it. Go ahead.
Con. Verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
The customs of the people are vain. They're nothing. Why are we still doing it? It's time for you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, to stop celebrating the customs of these heathens, our oppressor, the white man, the devil the
Right.
Bible speaks of.
That's right.
It's time to come out of their ideology, come out of their holidays, come out of their feast days, come out of their ideology. Slakia. I got tongue tied. Idolatrous ways, their idolatrous customs and holidays. It's time to stop all that and come into the truth. And you can only learn that in the ISUPK, in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. And with that, this is the ISUPK, the School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Slakia, do you have the security announcements?
Khan.
And go ahead.
Khan. This is the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. That's found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Also found in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasure department or teacher priest fund. Free will offering, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. For the upcoming holy convocations, we got the I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Passover.
No,
Feast of Purim.
right.
We have the Feast of Purim coming up, the 14th day and the 15th day of each of the 12th month, which is going to be on it's going to fall on Monday the 2nd March, and Tuesday the 3rd March 2026. You can find that in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 to 31. Salakia. Go back to that. Reminder to Akim and Akwatim to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, headbands, scarf. And with that, I'll pass the class book cover to Officer 50. I'll call you.
Amajim, which means stand. Upon Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to give the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa,
Abanaw,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Shamka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwaka,
Malakwaka,
Taba'ah,
Tabaha,
Ratazaka,
Batazayaka,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Aisha,
Ashar,
Barataza,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kowa,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Bashamayim,
Basman,
Latan Lanawa,
Latonanaw,
Akam,
Baka,
Kal,
Call,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Yasalak, Wasalak Nawa,
Wasawatinaw,
Kabwat Nawa,
Kabawatinaw,
Kasalak Nawa,
Kaslakinaw,
Kabwat Yanawa,
Kabawatinaw,
Wala,
Uhala,
Tabai Salaki, Tabaya Nawa,
Tabayanaw,
Panasaya Wan,
Banasayawan,
of all,
the ball,
Habashai Nawa,
Aishanaw,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Ra,
Kaya,
Banya,
Laka,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa,
Wahala,
Wahala,
Wahatapara,
Wahatapara,
La'awalamyum,
Wahalamium,
Aman. And when
Aman.
we say This was our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven.
which art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come.
thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory forever.
and the glory forever.
So be it.
So be it.
So, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, on Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabarakatah.
Yajamata. So, our sisters, Amajim, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Aman Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah.
Yajamata. Class dismissed.